Raghuvampsham bhaje Ramena Bhyata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalayasya Da Bhotume Bho Rama Mamuddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Ayyan Rilrak Ayang Ayauch Ayavarat Lan Yamagananam Jaban Garadash Jabagadash Kapha Chata Chacha Chatav Kapai Shashasar Hal Iti Mahashya Sutra. Okay, I think we are number 12 right now, I think pretty right. So I think hope you can all see the page. Namvasam Kamala Shobhanan Tatha Shakhinan Cha Na Parishramachadam Darshane Nalghuna Yatha Tayoh Priyatima Purvayos Tapasvinaha. So Namvasam Kamala Shobhanan Tatha Shakhinan Cha Na Parishramachadam Darshanena Laghuna Yatha Tayoh Priyatima Purvayos Tapasvinaha. So the Padacheda is, actually you can follow the commentary itself. It says Tapasvinaha is Laghuna Tayoho Ubhayoho. I'm going to have to go to the next page. Darshanena Yatha Pritimapuho Tatha Kamala Shobhinam Amvasam Darshanena Napuhu Na Apuhu Parishramachidam Shakhinancha Na Apuhu. So we have a Yatha Tatha construct here. Yatha Tatha. So if you go to the prior page, so simple sentence is that Tapasvinaha Tayoho Darshanena Pritim Apuhu. So, but then it is Yatha Pritim Apuhu Na Tatha. Then we got two more clauses there. Na Tatha Kamala Shobhinam Ambhasam Darshanena Na Cha Tatha Parishramachidam Shakhinam Darshanena. There's only one verb in the whole sentence, which is the Apuhu. Apuhu. So let's start the document with that. Always that's a good way to attack the whole sentence is look at the verb. Tingantam Padam. And if there's no Tingantam Padam, sometimes you have to supply one to make a sense out of it. But let's start with the word Apuhu. Now, I think hopefully now by this time, many of you can recognize this us ending. The us ending, that is really, that tells you that it's probably going to be you have to be careful because see, even in the Vidiling we have the us ending in Vidiling, Ashiling, like Bhave, Yuhu, and all that. So us ending doesn't always only mean it's going to be the lit lakara. But then if you have no Gana Vikaranam, it will not be Vidiling either. So there's no Gana Vikaranam here, and Abhyasa has taken place. So, of course, the Abhyasa is kind of eaten up in this case. We'll see what has happened. It's slightly difficult to decipher this form, but the Abhyasa has been kind of swallowed up because we have had a Akasaman Jirga Sandhi happening over here. But if you see the us ending with the Abhyasa, then you know this is going to be a third person singular Parasmai Pada lit. Parasmai Padam is lit lakara. That's the only way you can get the Abhyasa with the us ending. Now, just to back up a little bit, where is this coming from? This is coming because the default ending for the third person, fifth person plural, I'm sorry, not singular, plural. Take that back. Because null atus us. So null atus us from a plural. Default ending is tip tas ji. Tip tas ji. The tip tas ji becomes null atus us. The sutra number there, it's going to be in 3.4, I think it's 3482. In the Lasya Adhikaraha, we start from 3477. So we're going to have this outright substitution. Parasmai Padana. in lit lakara in the parasmaipadam. You get the substitutions of nal atus us, thal atus nal vamaha. This is 3482. As I mentioned to you before, is that 99% lit lakara is only third person. So I have to worry only about the first three, nal, atus, and us. So that explains the us ending. So we really have to, what is the dhatu here? I think dhatu is pretty easy to guess on this one. Dhatu is going to be ap. The dhatu is ap. So the only thing is that the duplication also, let's talk about the duplication for a second, because if you take the dhatu ap plus lit, then we're going to have the liti dhatu ranabhyasasya. Liti dhatu ranabhyasasya. So when lit pratyaya follows, the dhatu takes abhyasa. Now all these abhyasa rules, what takes abhyasa comes in beginning of 6.1. There are only about 4 or 5 important rules there, the beginning of 6.1. 6.1.1 starts with the ekacho de prathamasya. That's when the 6.1.1 starts from that. That what the prathama ekacha bhagaha will take the abhyasa. So if most dhatus have only one ach, so that single ach will be duplicated, and on either side the consonants will go with it. Now the second sutram says 6.1.2 is ajader dvitiyasya. If you have a ajadi dhatu, which we do have right now, then dvitiyasya, the second ach takes abhyasa. But obviously to have that sutra apply, you have to have a second ach. Most dhatus don't have a second ach. So even if it is ajadi, still only the first ach will take abhyasa unless it's anek ach. Now those are very few in the dhatu patha. Sometimes when you have the derived dhatus, then you can have those kind of complex situations where you have a ajadi dhatu which is anek ach. Because if you have like a causative form or desiderative form, then they become anekach. So if you had the ajadi dhatu, even if it were ekach in dhatu patha, by adding the making it sadhita dhatu, making it derived, it becomes anekach. And then you start having these complications of the second ach. But in dhatu patha itself, very few are anekach. There's a dhatu called urnu. There's one dhatu called urnu. Urnu nabhi. Urnu means like to spin a web. So that's a rare dhatu which is ajadi anekach. So otherwise there are not very few. So even though 6.1.2 does says ajadi dvitiyasya, only dvitiyasya means dvitiya aj asti chet. So there is no dvitiya ach in our case. Okay. So this is going to be only that a is going to take duplication. So we are going to and then the one we are really using is the 6.1.8. Liti dhatu ranabhyasasya. So then we make it, ap, duplicate the ach, the vowels go along with it. So we'll duplicate the ap. In the meanwhile, the lit will become lasya, tiptas g, going to get g is going to become us. We're skipping some steps now. So we'll make it ap plus ap. And then, after that, can anybody tell me what sutram you apply for this one in the abhyasa karyam now? We've done this a few times. What is the abhyasa karyam now? That comes in the end of 7.4. Anybody can tell me what sutram applies?
Haladi sheshaha and hrasvaha.
Haladi sheshaha, yes. Haladi sheshaha, and then we'll have hrasvaha. Now, but then when we haladi shesha and then hrasvaha, and then we can do the akasamani dirgha. Akasamani dirgha between the a and the a, and make it into long a. So that'll do it. So if you take ap plus ap, then it's going to become ap only. So that was the reason why within the abhyasa is going to be unnoticed kind of, because of the fact that the haladi sheshaha, the prakara of abhyasa dropped. Then we had the rasvaha. Then we did the akasamani dirgha, and then then we the a became a only. So it's not really noticed. The abhyasa is unnoticeable. That is a difficult part of this form apuho. It's because the abhyasa is not noticeable. Otherwise, everything is the us ending, but the us ending will definitely tip you off. This is probably going to be lit lakara. So all these rules are going to be the lakara prakriya is it works like mathematics, So you definitely want to try to master that, and this is where you really need the Panini rules, because without Panini rules you can manage in a lot of other places. Otherwise, to memorize all these dhatu endings is going to be nearly impossible. Okay. So I would definitely encourage you to try to follow this Panini system when you do the prakriya for the dhatus. Okay, so now we did that. Let me see, is there any other thing? The one thing I'm thinking of is that there's one sutram in Abhyasa called Ata Adehe. Abhyasasya Adehe Akarasya Dirgha Bhoti Liti Parataha. So that sutram, let's look at that for 1 second, okay? So let's see what that Karthik said. The one that we used here, is the 7.4. We use haladi sheshaha and we use rasvaha. Karthik is correct. So they all start from the 7.4.58 atralopo abhyasasya. Then haladi rasva is 7.4.59. 7.4.60. The one I'm thinking of is that there is Ata Ade 7.4.70. So let's first do the apply 7.4.69. Apply 7.4.69. I'm sorry, 59 and 60. And now we are going to be. Let me also make this one into the us ending already, but we already talked about that. So make this into us. So now we got up, and now we get the a plus up plus us. Now at this point, there is one sutram which says ata adehe. Is when if you have a short akara, and that it is the lit pratyaya is following, then that will become. Let's go to sutram there. Ata adehe. If you look at that, ata adehe, it becomes dirgha. It becomes a again. That really comes into importance when you have a dhatu beginning with short a. Because what happens if this dhatu is beginning with the rasva akara adi, what will happen is that when you do this a plus a, you can have atogune. Atogune, you can have the ekadeshaha or the pararupam. That will spoil the whole abhyasa. If you had a dhatu beginning with short a, you do the abhyasa, you will get a plus a. And then in that case, you will have the akasamani diga will be stopped by atogune. Atogune pararupam ekadesha syat. So that is the time you need to make the short a into long a again, and then do akasamani dirgha. In our case, it doesn't really matter because we're going to do akasamani dirgha anyway. So let me check in the dhatu vritti what he has done, because you can really do, even here you could technically do the ata adehe, because the short adi akaraha becomes dirgha in abhyasa. That's what the rule says. It will not make a difference to us because we are going to do the akasamani dirgha anyway, so it will not matter. So let me see what they have done in the what I'm looking at now is looking at the Madhavya Dhatu Vritti. In the very first few lines, he gives all the lakara explanations. This is one of the best books to go to get the. Okay, let's see what he does. He says, okay. So actually, doesn't matter. He doesn't mention that. Okay. So even if you apply this, I guess it will not make any difference in our case. This 7.4.70 ata ade. Okay, Vasu has a question. Let me talk to Vasu. Yes.
On the second line, up plus is you have put, is that is or?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you. Yes, it is us.
Yes.
Us. I'm sorry. Yes, us. Correct. Thank you. It's us. So could you please, any typos, please let me know. I'll correct them. So 7470, I think, can be applied here also, but without making any difference. 7470 may be applied, but generally they probably won't apply it. So that'll basically make this A into long A again, and then again do the akasamana dirgha. It comes to the same thing. So they're going to get ap. So that's how the form apuhu will be applied, but will not have a net effect. Will not have net effect. Okay. So apuhu means that they obtained. So, and what is the subject of that apuhu? It's also quite obvious in the shloka. I think the subject is the tapasvinaha apuhu. Now that's where the commentary comes into play. Tapaha esham asti iti tapasvinaha. So when you look at this vigraha vakyam, this is pratyaya is called tadhita pratyaya. Tadhita pratyaya means you make derived secondary nouns from. So tapas was actually dhatu is tap. To that we made a noun tapas. Unadi pratyaya, probably asun was added to make it tapas. Then we make tapasvin, the one who has tapas. So we started from a dhatu, made a kudanta, we made a noun or adjective from that, actually a noun from that, I'm sorry. And then from then we made a secondary noun, the one who has tapas. Now, they will generally won't tell you, you have to remember these meanings in which these pratyas come in Tadhita land. So when you see this asya astiti or esham astiti, that is what he's telling you, is that you have to go to this section from 5 to 94 onwards. Tadasya asti asmin niti matup. Tadasya asti asmin niti matup. So, I mean, at least this is a grammatical commentary. I mean, this is a kavya grantha. But if you read like, Vedanta granthas and maybe like even Ramayanam, Bhagavatam, they will not tell you the sutra number like that. They will only give you the tapas esham asti or asya asti iti tapasvin. So then once you see that asya asti iti, you should immediately understand where you need to go. Where you need to go to, with some practice we can so that is what I'm trying to tell you, is you have to keep these meanings in your mind. See, 5 to 94 starts the adhikara, tad asya asti asmin iti matup. So you want to remember that top level sutram. That's what they will quote when they will make the vigraha vakyam for you. So one who has that. But now this matup pratyaya is being used. This is very interesting adhikara, by the way. This is very useful, very interesting section, the matuparthya pratyaya. So from 5 to 94 up to apada samaptehe, means up to the end of the pada. Apada samaptehe, matuparthya pratyaya grihiyante. So from 5 to 94 starts the one very important section, and which is used a lot, which is nice and compact, very useful, not too many complications. But there are many pratyas in many different varieties. They come, many different varieties. So I'll call it the matup arthya pratyaya. I say matup arthya, I just call it matup section, up to end of 5.4. So from this is how you, tadhitas are difficult in the sense that there are many pratyayas and many meanings, and many ganas also. So that's the hard part in tadhitas. In tingantas, the difficult thing is the interaction, the angakaryam. The angakaryam is complicated because you get bhu, then you get tip brings in shab brings in guna brings in this, that. So there are many steps. Tadhita steps are few, like we see in this one also. The steps are few, but unfortunately to know which pratyaya to apply, it takes to know which sutra you need to go to, depending on the meaning which is given, and which ganas are lists of pradipadikams mainly, So this list of pradipadikams, like this pratyaya. This will take that. Now, who's going to memorize those lists, I mean, dhatu pada people memorize dhatu pada, but gana pada I don't think many people memorize that. I mean, maybe in Vyakaran Pashala they might be doing it. But you just have to have a list of, there are books called, the one that I like is this Ganaratna Avalihi. It's published by this Ramlal Kapoor Trust. It also has an index at the back, Akaradi Suchi. If you suspect a word is in the Ganapatha, you can look at this book. It will give at the back. Also, in our Pune, I think it's Pune University, there is a nice book published by Dr. S.M. Katre, who has also done this Ganapatha work. Also, it's in transliteration form. Also a nice book. It also goes in the Akara Di Suchi, very nice book, Ganapatha book. So this is two books that I like to use. Actually, the real Ganapatha, you can say Tikakara was Vardhamanacharya. Vardhamanacharya, who edited that and wrote the commentary on that. And this Ganapatha, as I said before, is Samshodhana Apeksha. It's to be edited now. It's become antique. Anyway, so for us right now it's easy because he's telling us in the commentary, tapas sahasrabhyam vinini. So finally 52102. Iti vini pratyaya. So he starts, because we start from 5294, and he's giving us a pratyaya vini. Vini means the ending is and it by upadesh ajana nasika it. So the pratyaya that we are being given right now is tapas. So we have tapas plus vini. Vini is a pratyaya. So let us go to, let us go to 52102. See what the vritti is. Always when you apply any sutra, make it a habit, please. Try to check out the vritti. And even if you don't understand, it's okay. Maybe you don't understand it, but see that if what they are telling you in the vritti is, and where do you get the vritti from? Either you have to go to the Kashika or Siddhanta Kaumudi. They go in different order. In a way, Kashika is better because he gives the vritti for every sutram. He will repeat. In Siddhanta Kaumudi, he will not do that. Sometimes he might just say spashtam. It may not be spashtam for us. It might be spashtam for him. But so he might just or pragvat, just as before. If you have not been following, because he expects you to read the text from beginning to end, and he will not repeat. So if you're not following the Kaumudi from before, if you just see this vritti says pragvat, then what do? You have to go back. You have to find the vritti. So that's why Kashika is slightly better, because he will not say that. He will repeat everywhere what it should be. Let's see what we have in 52102. Number slightly off in this document is 52101. So let us see. Okay. Tapas vinini. Tapas sahasra shabdabhyam vini ini iti eto pratyayo bhavataha matvarthe. So only two. See, look at what's wording here. When you want to apply this in Tadita Krudanta, also same thing, is that you have to know what is the pratyaya, in what meaning, and which pratipadikams can take it. To answer these three questions. And many times you will not have all, in fact most of the times, you will not have all three in one sutra. Sometimes they might only give the pratyaya, sometimes only give the meaning, sometimes only give, the prakriti, who can take it. So here we have two things given. Tapas sahasrabhyam. So following these two pratipadikams, tapas and sahasra shabdabhyam. So we got one item now. Then two pratyaya are possible, vini and ini are possible. But how is the meaning? Where do you get the meaning from? Because Kashika gives matvarthe. So that anuvritti we have to take. So from 94, we get the meaning of matup. Or in matuparthe means this whole thing. Tadasyasti yasminniti. So that's the meaning. This is the meaning in which we are using, because that's the adhikara which is running down here. So at least luckily we got two of them at least in this. So only these two words. Always when you look at any sutram, look at the domain. What domain is it in? This only applies to these two pratipadikams. If you don't have these two pratipadikams, you don't need this sutram. It's a very small domain, very small domain for only these two pratipadikams, tapas and sahasra. This is the prani's greatness. He makes his sutrams easy for us to understand one at a time. So just when tapas or sahasra is the pratipadikam, you can take the pratyaya either vini or ini in the matvarthe. So now we got all three pieces of the puzzle. One interesting thing which Kashika notes for us. Let's go one step. See, when you have the, we did the Echo Yavayava Sandhi, you all know, right? Echo Yavayava. And what paribhasha we use there, sutram, is the Yatha Sankhya Manudesha Samanam. Yatha Sankhya Manudesha Samanam. So does it mean that can we do Yatha Sankhya here also respectively? Can we say that tapas will only take vini and sahasra will only take ini? Kashika says no. He says pratyaya arthayoho tu yatha sankham sarvatra eva asmin prakarane nasti tapasvi. But now he says actually I take it back, he says tapo asya asmin va vidyate tapasvi sahasri. So actually they are taking the yatha sankham. Says pratyaya arthayostu yatha sankham sarvatra eva asmin prakarane nasti. So between the pratyaya and the artha, there is no yatha sankham in this section. It is what sarvatra eva asmin prakarane nasti. Let's see, nishyate. There's probably a typo on this one. Let me look at my book what he has. I think na ishyate. I think that's what it has means. So 5-2. So maybe we do need to use the Yatha Sankhya Manudesha Samanam is what is normally we have to use, because when you have two prakritis and two pratyas being given, then you should have to use the Yatha Sankhya Manudesha Samanam if you use in the Echo Yavaha Sandhi. So in 5-2, 102, Tapasasrabhyam Vinivihi Pratyaya Arthayostu Yatha Sankhya Sarvatra Asmin Prakarane Na Ishyate. So tapasvi sahasri. Okay. Now actually the one more little complication here is that, but you're right. But for the prakriti and pratyaya, you do use the yatha sankham here. So only example he gives is tapasvi. So tapas takes vini, and sahasra takes the ini, becomes sahasri. So one who has 1,000. Okay. Now the other thing which Kashika is saying is that there was actually another sutram which we could have used to get the pratyaya vini, and that one is which says that any asantas can take the pratyaya vini. I'll give you the number for that. That's 101. It's 521. It's in the same section. 52101. 121. 52121 is saying is that asmaya medha sajo vinihi. So vinihi was allowed from any asanta shabda. So tapas is ending in as. The question that you might ask then is, why do we even need 52102? Because already 52121 is saying that any asanta shabda can take the vini pratyaya matvarthe. The reason Kashika says is that the next sutram, ancha. So an can also be used following these two pradipadikams. And if we did not put this one tapas in this, the an might have overruled the vini. The vini would not be allowed for the tapas, because Spani says that an has to be with tapas. So now by putting tapas again back with vini, he's making way for both can be used. It can be tapasvin and also tapasaha. So tapasvin and tapasa can both be formed with tapas. So one more time is that the default pratyaya is matup. Now 52121 says that any asanta and also the maya, medha and srak can take vini. Okay, so by that alone tapas was qualified to take vini. But 52102 Pani says tapas can take vini and sahasra can take ini. They can also take the an. If he didn't say tapas can take vini specifically, the and would have overruled the vini for tapas. You would have only one form, tapasa. Tapasvin would not have come into play. And he said yatha sankham is there between the prakriti and the pratyas. You have yatha sankham. Let's go there for a second. So only tapas can take vini and sahasra can take ini. Only the pratyaya and artha there is no yatha sankham. Okay, so that's what he says. As antatvad adantatvacha siddhe pratye punarvachanam ana vakshamanena badha ma bhoot. So next sutram is saying you have to use the an pratyaya. Vakshamanena ana. So by the an which is coming in the next sutram, Badha ma bhut should not be overruled by the an. Because Sahasra also would have taken the ini, is Adanta Pratipadikam. If it also had the vini from tapas, it's a Sakara Asanta Pratipadikam. So anyway, so that's what Mulinatha is telling us, that you use this 52102 to apply the vini pratyaya to tapas. Now, one more problem we have. Now, how about you apply a Visarga Sandhi rules here? What should have been the form here between tapas and vini? Let's look at this for 1 second. Because remember one thing is that, let me put this number 52101. Is required so that 52121 should not overrule, should not be overruled by, so maybe I'll do it like this. Otherwise, okay. And while I'm putting this down, can somebody think about the Visarga Sandhi rules here? What should have happened here? Otherwise, 52103 would, between tapas and vini, would have overruled 52121. Okay. So when you have tapas plus vini, Sasajushoruhu. Now Sasajushoru only is Padante. Sasajushoru only comes Padante. Okay, Padma has a question. Vasu has a question, or two questions. Okay, let Padma ji, let's see.
Yeah.
Yes, Padma ji.
Yeah. That line number 5294 Matup section up to the end of 5.42.
Yeah, 5 point, the entire pada up to end of 5.2 pada.
2 only, because I noted 5.4 before, a couple of times you said. Up to
5.4 is the Samasanta section.
Oh, okay.
That also goes to end of 5.4.
Okay. So, all right. Thank you.
This is Matup.
Matup is only up to 5.2. Thank you.
End of 5.2, that's only.
Yeah.
Okay. Vasu has a question. Yes, Vasu.
Yes, that just a typo, the end of you need to put there.
End of 5.2.
And also below in the line required D.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Required. Okay. Now, can we apply Sasajushoru? Anybody in the class, can we apply Sasajushoru over here to this tapas? Can we apply the Sasajushoru? Vasu is the answer. Yes, Vasu.
Technically, you can, yeah.
Well, to apply it, you need to establish a padasanya for tapas, because only padantayoho, sasajushoho, right? So now, normally we say suptingantam padam is the main sutram, 1414. So suptingantam padam we don't have right now, because we're not in the middle of, yes.
Would it be tapaha first?
No, because we have not the pratipadikam tapas plus, vini. When you add like that vini, that whole thing will become a new pratipadikam now.
Okay.
We never brought in the, we have to, where is the, it will not get the padasanya normally like that. But there is actually a...
Is that a samasta padam or no?
No, it's not a samasa. Taditas don't create samasas, no.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
So that the taditas don't really create samasas. So in samasas, you're right that individuals have the padasanya. But what we are going to see now is that there is a sutram which is Swadishva Sarvanamasthane, and that is coming in 1.4. So not only Suptingantam Padam, but Swadishu, which starts from 412. All the pratyas starting from there. And Asarvanamasthane. There's no Sarvanamasthana in the Tadita pratyas. They only come in the, those first 4 or 5 endings in the Su out, just out. So 1417 says, Swadishva Sarvanamasthane Padasanya. So this tapas will take a padasanya. Now, if you have, then what should be sandhi have been then? If we get Padasanya for tapas, we start with Sasajusho, Ruhu and all that, then what would have been the form? Namo Narayana Sandhi. Should have been what? Tapovin. How is tapasvin then? Okay, the reason for that is that there is this further sutram which says taso matvarthe. So 1419 says if you have a takaranta or sakaranta pratipadikam followed by a matvarthya pratyaya, which we do because we have tapas, followed by the vini, which is matvarthe, then you get the bhasanya. The padasanya is overruled by the bhasanya. So that's why the Sasajusho Ruhu doesn't apply here. Because even though 1417 says Swadishva Sarvanamasthane, by 1419, because specifically it says Takaranta Sakaranta Pratyaha, if you have. If any of you chant either the Lalita Sahasranama Stotram, if you chant the Ganapati Atharva Shirsham, the Phalashruti, Yashovan Bhavati, Samedhavan Bhavati. So Yashovan, how it become Yashovan? Because if you say Yashas plus Vatu Pratyaha, should be Yashasvan, not Yashovan. So this sutram of Panini, this Taso Matvarthe, Tejo Vati Dutidhara, this comes in the Lalita Sahasranama Stotram, Tejo Vati. Also Ojo Vati comes also in the Lalita Sahasranama Stotram. This Tejo Vati, Ojo Vati, and also this Atharvashisham at the end when you see the Yashovan Bhavati. So in these cases, they are not honoring this Panini Sutram, this Taso Matvarthe. Because when you have Tejas plus Vati, this is adjective of Devi, Tejasvati, so then it should be Tejasvati, not Tejovati. Same thing with Ojovati, should have been Ojasvati, not Ojovati. So this Sutram of Panini is a little bit controversial. It is not, sometimes it is not, honored like that. So anyway, for us, this is Kalidasa, so he's not going to violate that Sutram. So 1419. So 1419 basically, I'll put that here. So 1419 is the one that helps us out and gives the bhasanya to tapas. And that overrules the, there's one more small complication, we'll move on, is that why should a sanya overrule? Normally sanyas don't overrule each other. Because you can have, because even right now you can see tapas is the angam. Tapas is also pratipadikam. So now tapas is also kudantam. So now they don't overrule each other. Then why should the bhasanya overrule padasanya then? Gives the bhasanya or tapas, and that overrules the, padasanya. The reason for that is that Panini starts with adhikaraha, which says akadarad eka sanya. So in sanyas in this section which are defined, only one of them can stay. Two cannot stay, which overrules the padasanya. So that is the reason why in this section only. See, because the anga sanya are defined outside, they're not in this section. So they can coexist with the bha sanya or whatever. But the pada and bha, they cannot coexist. They cannot. The bha is creates an apavada for the pada sanya. So in 141 says akadarad eka sanya. And that goes to end of 2.2, I think. Akadarad eka sanya. So until there, we can have only one sanya in here. So if you look at the word kadara, it comes in at the end of let's see, it comes at the end of I think it's 2.2 somewhere it is akadara eka sanya. So that is the reason why this sanya is overruling that. You see, kadara is the end of 2.2. So 142122. Generally only one sanya can exist for one term, unless something else is said to overrule that. Okay, so that's how we didn't get the tapovini, we only got tapasvin. Sasajusho Ruhu could not apply because the bhasanya has stopped the padasanya, so therefore we don't apply Sasajusho Ruhu. No 8266. All right, so that explains that form. Tapas. So we learned a few things here. The Mutupadikaraha, then tapas plus vini came by 52102, That is required, because otherwise, the 103 would have overruled 52121. And then finally, we were going to have the Padasanya for tapas by the 1417. 1419 specific rule, we said that if you have a tasaumatvarthe, a sakaranta or the takaranta and falling priti should be matubarthe. So only specific only, then bhasanya is there. If you looked at the final form and saw tapasvin, you knew that padasanya should normally come by the, then you should go under there and see if the exception is there, So you may not remove sutram tasau matvarthe. Something has happened. So that padasanya of the Swadesh Visranamastani has been overruled by something. It's probably going to be below that. Okay. Tapasvinaha, tapas sahasrabhyam vinini iti viniprat. It is yathasankyam. So it is between tapas and sahasra, is vini and ini. Then he says, so tapasvinaha, then pritim apuhu. So pritim is dhatu priti means they got joy or satisfaction, So they got, the tapasvin, which is ascetics, got great joy. And by what they got the joy is laguna darshanena. Normally the word lagu means like short or light or easy or quick. These are the meanings of lagu, Maybe trivial also it might mean. Opposed to guru. Guru is important, lagu is like trivial. But here, and that was not a bad meaning actually. So, because I say laguna, even by a quick glance, fleeting glance of Sri Rama and Lakshmana, they got the kind of joy which they could not get from all these other things. But Mulinatha says no. He says, he quotes Yamar Kosha. He says, Trishu lingeshu, means it's an adjective. Trishu, ishte alpe lagu. So lagu is an adjective. It can go in alpe, which is the meaning which we're talking about, which is small, light, that kind of meanings. Or it can be ishte api. So here is taking is that tayoho ubhayoho. Let's go to the next page. Pritima apuho. Now let me see in the back page. Did I skip something here? Laguna Tishu Ishtamaraha. He wants the Ishtartha here. Well, they might have skipped something. Let me just double check the other book, because he quotes Amar Kosha. Let me see, because I think he meant to say that Laguna is Ishtena. Okay, there's a term missing in this book. Okay, so Laguna is Ishtena. So that is a typo in this book. Laguna should be Ishtena. So that's what it means. It was very desirable. They were longing for that. So by the sight of Rama and Lakshmana, which they were longing for. So Laguna is Ishtena. So that's the kind of a strange meaning. But we have to expand our vocabulary, So this is and he's justifying it on the base of the Amar Kosha. So Laguna equals Ishtena. Ishtena. Okay, so and this is missing in the book, okay. So Laguna is Ishtena. And that's why he quotes the Amar Kosha, which says the Trishu Ishte Alpe Laghu Ityamaraha. These are all the lexicons, Shabda Kosha. So they give all the thesaurus of this language. They give the different meanings in which something can be used. Okay, anyway, that's his meaning. So and then says Tayoho Ubhayoho, and means Rama Lakshmana Yoho. And then he says Karma Bhutayoho, means that is the karma. So they are the objects of that. So by the sight of the two of them, if they are the karma, then how come we didn't get the Dvitiya Vibhakti with that then? How come we didn't get the Dvitiya Vibhakti? Because for the fact that normally we should have the Karmani Dvitiya. Because it says Karma Bhut, Ubhayoho, Karma Bhutayoho. So they are the objects of that seeing. So even though Karmani Dvitiya is there, if you have a Krut Pratyaya which is being used with that, then you can say, then you have to use a Shashti. Let me just go to this Karaka section. So Karmani Dvitiya is 2, 3, 2. So if it's a karma, you should take Dvitiya. But then Kartu Karmanoho Kriti. So if you have a krut pratyaya, and then the kartu and all the karma should take the shashti bhakti. So that's 2, 3, 65. So 2, 2, 3, 65 will take the kartu and the karma, both of them. So when you say jagatah karta, so he's the maker of the world. I said jagatah. So the jagat is the object of the doing. So but he's a maker of the world. And but he says Krishnasya kritihi, which is the act of Krishna. So Krishnasya is a karta. He also went in the shashti. Didn't go in. So karta karmanoho kriti. So tayoho darshanam is karma bhutayoho. But the darshanam, the krut pratyaya is there. And then that is what has taken into the karta karmanoho kriti, is tayoho darshanam. Tayoho darshanam. Okay. So that is the, and again when you see a shashti, generally make the sambandha. So tayoho ram ubhayoho karma bhutayoho, and make it the darshanena. Then yatha, the rest of it is not given much commentary. You can be some simple words now. So yatha priti mapuhu tatha na kamala shobhinam ambasam. No, ambas is a sakandra pratipadikam. Ambas means jalam. So ambasam is jalanam, is apam. So, and then kamala shobhinam. So what kind of compound is this? Anybody? Kamala shobhinam. Kamala shobhin pratipadikam. Kamala shobhinam. Okay? But the pratipadikam has to be kamala shobhin. Because this is, actually could have been kamala shobhi as short, it could have been like also like pratipadikam like vari. But this is kamala shobhinam. So what kind of samasa? Karthik, what do you think? What kind of samasa is this? Kamala shobhinam.
Is it Shashti Tatpurusha?
This is qualifying the waters, isn't it?
Oh, so Bahuvrihi.
So it could be Bahuvrihi, maybe. But if it's Bahuvrihi, then the one you ask the question is that the second half Shobhin, can it stand on its own?
Yeah, it can.
Do you have a word like Shobhi on its own? Probably difficult.
No.
Shobhi.
Oh.
So this might be in an Upapada Samasaha with, so Kamalaihi, right? So you can say Shobhante, it's Kamala Shobhin. You can add the pratyaya, because this sutra which says the Supya Jato Ninihi Tachilye. Supya Jato Ninihi Tachilye. So the 3-2-78 which we saw, that might work for us here, because we need to bring the pratyaya nini, ni, with the dhatu is shubh, and any sup can be the upapada. So 3-2-78, supya jato ninistachilye. So kamalaihi shobhante iti kamala shobhinaha. So what we have to do is that we have the kamal, and any sup can be the upapada. It doesn't have to be karma anything. So kamalaihi also can be used. I think that will work for us. So we have to, so this is, I think we have to use the upapada samasa for this. So we can say kamala, kamala, and then use probably the bhis, which will be removed anyway, and then you make it the dhatu shubh, is the shubh, and then add the nini, which is anubandha lope in, so kamala, and then we'll do the puganta lagupadasya gunaha. So we get Shobhin, that's Shobhin. Sutra we are using our 3-2-78, brings in the nini, and then you can do the 7-3-86, Puganta Laghupadasya, is the Laghupadha, which is the U, will take guna, become Kamala Shobhin, Pratipadikam, Kamala Shobhin. So I think that's what, and that's, he has not given the Vigraha Vakyam for us, because once you remember, as I mentioned to you last time, is that we are now jumping in the middle of the text, We are in this now in the 11th, 10th, 11th adhyaya. In the beginning, he will be more kind. He'll give more explanation, because these words have come before probably. So he's not going to expand too much at this point, So unfortunately, he may have been, given more of these in the beginning. So what he means is that the one which is simple, straightforward, you take it. So Kamala Shobhin. But particularly Kamala Shobhin is obvious. So Kamala Shobhinam Ambasam Darshanena na apuhu. So they did not get that kind of satisfaction by the sight of these waters, which were looking beautiful with the lotuses. The kind of satisfaction they got looking at Rama Lakshmana, they didn't get that kind of satisfaction looking at these waters, which were looking beautiful with these lotuses. One more is coming. Is Parishrama Chidam Shakhinam Darshanena Cha Na Apuho. And this, they also did not get this kind of satisfaction by looking at the trees, which were Parishrama Chid. The Palipadin Parishrama Chid, because the Chidam is a Shashti Bahuvachanam. Shashti Bahuvachanam. If you remove the arm ending, then what is left is Parishrama Chid. Parishrama Chid. It's probably Quip Pratyaya. The quip can be used, kind of freely to justify many forms. So whether Upapada is there, Upapada is not there also, still quip can be used in Vede Bhashayam cha, Sarvebhya Dhatubhya Vidhiyate. It doesn't mean we should start using this, kind of at will, but it can be used to justify these Shishta Prayagas. And I think the sutram there is, sutram I think is scripture, it's a 3.2, it's also 3.2 I think. In 3.2 around 78-ish I think comes this sutram, I think sutram is Quipcha. The Quipcha sutram is an interesting sutram. The Quip basically means zero. We'll go through that quickly also, why the Quip means zero. Okay. So because the Vritti itself, Kashika says, so Quipcha is 3.276, and he says the Sarvadhatubhyaha Sopapadebhyaha Nirupapadebhyascha Chandasi Bhashayam cha Quip Pratyaya Bhavati. So everywhere it can be used probably. So Parishrama Chid will become the Pradipadikam. Now the only thing is we got the Tuk Agama coming over here. So let's go that. So I think Quipcha can be used. There may be other specific sutras also, but Quipcha will work for us. Parishrama and Chid we had. Now how is the Quip becoming zero? Because the when you add the Quip, so Kartik, Sutram Kartik, what happening here? The Quip becoming zero. Anybody? Sutram Quip becoming zero.
Lashakvatadhite.
Lashakvatadhite. The
Halantyam.
Halantyam.
Upadeshe ajanunasika.
And what's the last one which I want from you?
Wow.
How does the Vakara go? Actually, the Vakara is really technically not an it letter. But the Vakara of the V goes away if it's the last one to stay. So you have to, first we have to look at the section which is the 132 to 138. We'll define for you all the it letters, which Kartik already told us, which is the 132 Upadesh Ajuna Nasika it. Then you got the Halantyam 133, and then Lashakvatadhite 138. And after all of that, only the Va is left. So Apruktaha Vakaraha Shishyate. Yes, Usha is there. I think Usha, yeah. Thank you. She already put on the. Yes, Usha ji. Vera Pruktasya, right?
Oh, yeah.
Vera Pruktasya. Okay, so Usha ji, 6166. So 6166 says that if you have the Vakara staying back alone with just nothing else, on its own, then that also drops. So Vehe Apruktasya. Apruktya Ekal Pratyaha. So if it's a single one, then you can remove that vowel. So that's how this entire thing becomes zero. So the final one is Vera Pruktasya. Vera Pruktasya. So what we have done is we've taken Dhatu Chid and made it into a Pratipadikam. Because Chid cannot be declined. To decline, we have to have a Pratipadikam. Niya Pratipadikat. So 6166 is Sutram. 67, I think. 67, Ushaji, 67. So Vera Pruktasya, 6167. So Vehe Apruktasya. The Vakara of V, when it is alone, it'll drop. 6167. Okay. Now, remind you is that to decline means to bring the suadi pratyaya, you require niya pratipadika. Has to be pratipadikam. The chit was not a pratipadikam. So zero, what the zero did for us was it took the dhatu, and now it's become into pratipadikam. So 412 can now apply, and you can decline it. So one last thing we need to do is that because parishamachid, there's a cha coming in between here. So when we apply all these, the quip becomes zero. The quip is removed. You call the sarvapahara lopaha. Sarvapahara lopaha of quip means everything is gone. So you might see this term being used. Sarvapahara lopaha means everything is gone. It becomes zero. Sarvapahara lopaha of quip. Okay. Now we need to get that tuk agama in there, and that sutram is 6173. Now how do I know that? Because the adhikara samhitayam starts from 6172, and then we have the 6173, which says checha. So checha. So we take that and we get the tuk agama, and then finally we'll do the stoshchunashchuho. So by being the tuk agama and the adyantau takitau. So really the tuk agama is coming here because it becomes the ending member of this parishrama, this whatever is here, parishrama chid. Comes in, who chants the Devi Mahatmyam Chandipatha, Ya Devi Sarabhuteshu Chaya Rupena Samsthita, Bhuteshu Chaya Rupena Samsthita. So in fact, let me get some Gita action going. I think Achedyo Yamada Yoyam Makledyo Shoshya Evacha. Gita second adhyaya. Achedyo Yamada Yoyam. This Atma cannot be cut. It cannot be burned. Achedyo Yamada Yoyam. Makledyo Shoshya Evacha. It cannot be made moist. It cannot be dried. That is a sutram which I think you can use this one. Okay, Gita second adhyaya. It's a little bit early only it comes. Achedyo Yamadayoyam Makledyo Shoshya Evacha. If you go to second adhyaya of Gita, it comes in the, I think maybe around 25. Anybody has the number? Okay, Ashochan Vashochastam a little bit lower than that. Dehino asminyatha dehe. Okay, matra sparshasta kaunteya chetyo yamadayoyam nasato vidyate bhava. And a little bit lower than this. It is in the first half only, I know that. But it will be aminashu tadvidhi yena sarvamidan tatam antavanta ime deha yenam jayate mriyate. It might be coming now. Veda vinashanam nityam vasansi jirnani yathavya. Okay, I think here it is. Nayanam shinchastrani. Okay. Achedyoyam adayoyam. See, achedyaha. So this is the same thing that we have right now with the parishrama-chidam. Achedyaha. So we get, because when you have the short vowel and followed by this cha samhitaya by checha, by 6173, if you look at 6173, because 6172 starts from Hitayam, and the very next sutram is 6173, and that's what gives you this form. Now, why do I say only short vowel? Because the rasvasya pitikriti tuk, so rasvasya is coming down. Actually, below that comes dirghat, but then padantad va. So dirgha can take it, but unless it's padanta, then only it's va. If it's a short vowel, the tuk is nityam. If it is a dirgha, then it will also take, which padanta dirgha, it will be vikalpena. Like Gayatri Chandaha, Gayatri Chandaha, Gayatri Chandaha, Gayatri Chandaha. So you have these two forms. But right now we have Rasvaha, called Parishrama-chidam. So you get the tuk agama by 6173, and then of course you do the stoshchunashchuhu when you do the tripadi karyam. So let me put the number. So that ta comes by 6173, and then use then the 8-4 40 stoshchunastu changes the because the dental palatal contact, right? Dental is weak. Changes the tha to cha. So that is that. I'm sorry. Let's make this less typos. Cha. Okay. So that's what we have now. We have, I think, where we leave it off now. Parishrama chidam. So parishrama dhatu shram. Parishrama means like fatigue. So chid is to cut, means to remove. It's qualifying the shakhinam. The shakhin. Shak means vrukshanam. So they did not get the satisfaction of looking at even these trees, which had many branches, shady trees, which will remove your fatigue by allowing you to rest under them. The word shakhin now. Let's talk about shakhin. The shakhin also is, shakhaha asya asti iti shakhin, one who has shakhas. Now this is also in the madhubarthya pratyaya. So let's go there. What can we find something there to help us out to get the pratyaya ini shakhin? We want to make the ini. Now in madhubarthya again we go from 5.294 to end of 5.2. We can scan that section to see what we find. And there is one sutra which says ata ini tanau. Ataha ini tanau. Now that with pratyaya in can be used only if you have the adanta anga. So short a ending anga, only that ini or tan can be used. We don't have that. We have shakha, it's long a. The next gana is vriyadibhyascha. That's what we need. We need to use 52116. Because the vriyadi gana, vrihi means rice, So vrihin is one who has a lot of rice. So vrihin. So similarly, vriyadi gana is a gana which might be also, all these ganas are kind of flexible, Every gana, not every, but most of them are kind of flexible. Called akriti gana. Sometimes Kashika or Siddhanta will tell you directly it's akriti gana. Sometimes they might leave it up to you to figure it out. But any shishta prayogas can be, if there's nothing else is there, you can, of course you should not do akriti gana unless you need to. But in our case, I think we have to do this vriyadibhyascha. Let's see the 52116. This is what I was talking about the gana patha before, Is all these ganas, who's going to memorize vriyadi? What is vriyadi? So, and Kashika, actually most places he quotes the gana for you also. So let's see what he gives in the vriyadi gana, So 116, 52116. Let's see what he gives. We might be lucky to find the word shakha in. Even if it's not there, we have to justify it from that basis. So 52116. My next question for you is going to be, this number is off by 1, is when you have shakha plus in. Let's see, vrihi mayikaha shikadibhyascha inirvacha ikanna. Okay. Shikha. No, shikha is there. Shikha mekhala sanya balaka mala vira vadava ashtaka vataka karman charman tibhya inireva ishyate yava khada kumari no ikanneva ishyate. Oh, okay. I don't see it here. But as I said, we can probably extend it. So the next question comes when you take shakha plus ini. How will the a go away of shakha? Anybody in the class? We have shakha plus ini, shakhin. We want to get shakhin. So now what can we use to because that a has to go. Otherwise we start getting ad gunaha. We have started getting ad gunaha. So what can we do? Anybody can help us? Okay, Vasu has the answer. I'm impressed. Very good.
Is it ato lopa iti?
That's only pratyaya which ardha dhatuke.
Oh.
And also requires pratyaya which kitnit.
Okay.
On 2 counts we cannot use that one. Let me first put this number 52116. Just double check 52116. Let's see what was Anuji has the answer. I know Anuji will know. Okay, she has been quiet today. Yes, Vasu.
Yeah, Satishji, when you are looking at the vritti, I saw shakina down below somewhere.
Let's
if you can, yeah.
Let's go back to vritti. I called Shalayaha. Shalinaha I saw the Shikha I saw also here. See, Vrihi, Mai, then Shikhadibhya Inirvachaha, Chikan Yavakadadishu. In Shikha Mekhala Sanya Balaka Mala Veena Vadava Ashtaka Pataka Karman Charman Hamsa is not there. And then Vrigahanam Kimartham Yavata. Okay.
Oh, Shalinaha is there. But
Yeah,
not-
Shalayaha, that Shali, I think is rice, you know. I think Shalin, I think Shala. So Shali might be kind of Shalikaha, Vrihi Kadadibhyaha. Okay. Unfortunately, it may not be here. But let's see. I think Anuji has a question, answer as to what happens. Yes, Anuji.
Oh, I don't know about that. Could it be Tadideshu because of that Akara drops?
Tadeshu
There is one.
Achamadehe.
Yeah.
That is the Vriddhi of the Adi. With and here that only happens, and that only happens when you have either the Nit or the Nit or the Kit, which we don't have also. We have the Chavarga Panchama or the Kakara. In Taditeshu Achamadi, we do the Vriddhi. Anyway, we already have Shaka, already Adi and Vriddhi anyway. So
Right. Mm-hmm.
okay, let's go through step by step. So when you add in Pradyat, and all Taditas come in the Swadhishu section, right? Because Swadhi starts from 412. So then, as we already saw today when we did the word tapasvin, that normally we should get a padasanya by the Swadhishu Sarvanamasthane, Swadhishva Sarvanamasthane. But in Yachibham, Yachibham, if the pratyaya being with the Ya or Ach, we get the Bhasanya. So Shakha now gets the Bhasanya. We'll put that in the document. And that is where we have to now go to find out if we have a sutram which is going to help us. So Shakha gets just like we had the Bhasanya before, by different sutram before though, but Shakha gets the Bhasanya by the 4118. 4118 it got the Bhasanya.
4-1 or 1-4?
1-4, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. 1-4-18. 1-4, because 1-4-17 is the Swadhishu Sarvanamasthane and 1-4-18 is Yachibham. And so the moment you get the Bhasanya, you have to go in the Bhasya Adhikara starting from 6-4-129 starts Bhasya Adhikara. So let's first look at 1-4-17-18. See 1-4-17 this was a very, very important, because not only Supting Antam Padam, but even Swadhishu Asarvanamasthane, the Anga gets the Padasanya. But Yachibham comes and says that if that Swadi Pratyaha is Yakaradi or Ajadi, then we'll get the Bhasanya. And the moment that trips up the routine, starting from 6-4-129, because the moment the Bhasanya comes, it kicks in this routine, in like a computer program, and they all come and get their chance to apply. From 6-4-129 starts the Bhasya Adhikara. Bhasya. So if the Anga is a Bhasanya, then, if-then, it's like an if-then statement, So because that one put the Bhasanya, that 1-4-18, then you got an if-then statement coming here, Bhasya. So if the Anga is Bhasanya, then you have to run this routine. If it doesn't have, you can skip over this routine. So in our case, you're going to have to use the sutram Yasyeticha. Yes, 6-4-1-48. Yasyeticha. Usha have it, I think Usha may have had it. Okay. Thank you, Anuji. So it is Yasyeticha is the sutram. Let me see. Did Usha had it on the... Yes, Usha has it. Thank you. Thank you, Shaji. So 6-4-1-48 is Yasyeticha is sutram. Thank you. And what does that say? Is Ivarnantasya Avarna. So Yasya means it's a Yan Sandhi in the sutram. So E and A become Yasya. So Ivarnantasya Avarnantasya Bhasanyakasya Angasya Lopasyat Tadhite Ikare Chapare. If we have an Anga, we have right now Shakha ending in long A. It can be either Ivarnanta, long or short E, or Avarnanta, long or short A. And if you have Pratyaya following, which is Tadhita or Ikare Chapare, either one of them, we have right now, but we have Tadhita right now. Then Lopasyat, Alontyasya, the ending A takes Lopaha. Then we get the word Shakhin. Just to also refresh your memory, Tadhita starts from 4176. Tadhitaha. Tadhitaha is an Adhikara. It's a huge one. It's more than 1,000 sutras. They're a difficult one kind of to master. That's difficult to master, the Adhikara. Because, there are more than 1,000 sutras and a lot of different complications. Ganesh, we should know where it is. The 4176 starts the Taditaha. It goes up to end of 5.4. Right now we are in 5.2. We have just applied the 52116, I think it was. So that's how this in pratyaya is a Tadita pratyaya. Then Shaka gets bhasanya by 1-4, Anuji said, Yachibham, and then that allows us to apply. Then apply the 6-4-148. Yes, teacher. This is important, so it's going to come a lot. To remove the ending E. Remove the ending A, I should say. Ending A of Shaka. So that will do it. Then we can then just join. Otherwise, you could have had the Ad Gunaha coming in there, which we have to avoid that Shakha. Okay, so then we got the word Shakhin. I think that will probably end this shloka for us, right? Darshanena cha. So na apu. So yatha tatha. So yatha Rama Lakshmanayoho laguna darshanena priyatim apuho na tatha. Kamala shobhinam ambasamapi na cha parishramaච්ಛಿದಾಂ shakhinamapi. So they could not get that kind of satisfaction looking at these beautiful trees which had a lot of branches which will remove your fatigue by allowing you to rest. Neither could they get this kind of satisfaction looking at the waters which are beautiful with those lotuses. So let's look at the translation. Okay. Who wants to do this for me? Anybody? To volunteer? Let's see who can do this for me. Maybe it's me. Let me try Nagaraj. Who wants to try? Nagaraj, you want to try this? Nagaraj, are you there? Try this. Maybe Ravindra want to try this. Let me try him. Ravindra, you want to try this one? Translation for us? No, maybe he's not there. Okay. I guess Vasu can do it. I'm sure Vasu can do it. Let me try Vasu. Okay. Okay.
More than lakes.
More than lakes. Okay.
No,
so I think more than is taking, I think, the Natata.
Natata, yeah.
So not with them. Lakes is what?
Is that Ambasam?
Ambasam really means waters.
Ambasam.
And then with lotus gleaming.
Kamala
Shobhinam.
Kamala Shobhinam.
That's the compound.
Yeah.
Then more than, again, Natatha.
Natata.
Into bracket restful is fine. Trees is what?
Shakinam.
Shakinam. That ease away all toil.
Parishramaච්ಛಿದಾಂ.
Parishramaච්ಛಿದಾಂ. So chid is to cut, to remove. So parishrama is toil. Their sight.
Darshanena.
Tayoho darshanena.
Tayoho darshanena.
I think actually should make it tayoho ubhayoho darshanena. Their sight.
Tayoho. Oh, yes.
Ubhayoho darshanena.
Yeah.
It will be the sight of the two of them, it should have been.
Yeah.
Then so wished for is? That's the Laguna. Laguna.
Laguna.
Laguna, it became Ishtena. That's the commentary. The site was desirable, So Vanchitena.
Okay, is it like the Keno Payena Laguna kind of usage?
No, that Laguna is an easy Upayana Laguna. That's the said. Most of the time, Lagu means easy or light or quick or trivial. This is an interesting meaning which Mulinatha has taken here. That might fit here also. And I thought that was okay to fit here because even by a short glance of them, they got the kind of joy which they could not get looking at these lakes and trees into bracket for a long time. But anyway, we have to refer the commentator. He has a reason for that. So Laguna is Ishtena, so wished for. Then cheered the hearts.
Pritim.
Apuhu.
Apuhu.
Pritim apuhu. So they got joy, satisfaction. Then off the hermits.
Tapasvinaha.
Tapasvinaha. Actually, they have paraphrased a lot because the hermits is not in Shashti. Should really be that the hermits, found joy. We should be in the better time because hermits is actually Prathama Bhavachanam, Tapasvinaha. tapasvinaha pritim apu. But he has kind of rephrased that a little bit, cheered the hearts of the hermits. So he has made actually the hearts as the karma. So this is not should really being the hermits found joy by their sight, Okay, so good. Let's go to the next one. I think we are getting most of it. I hope so. So sthanu dagdha vapushas tapovanam prapya dasharathir rattakarmukaha vigrahena badanasya charuna sobhavat pratinidhir na karmana. So sthanu dagdha vapushas tapovanam prapya dasharathir rattakarmukaha vigrahena badanasya charuna sobhavat pratinidhir na karmana. Okay, let's see what we can do. So you can see the padanvaya down there. See the padacheda down there. Is saha attakarmukaha dasharathihi. Can you get the sandhi here, by the way? In the commentary we have a sandhi going here. Dasharathi ramaha. So this is what sutram. So in the commentary we have this rori coming into play when you have the repa back to back. So let's look at the commentary. In the commentary, we have this form dasha. I know commentary wants to make the job easy for us, but this is the sandhi rule which I think we are supposed to know. So what dasharathi? I think his gloss is ramena. So that is Rama, I think he's saying. So Dasharathi is Rama. So the commentary is Dasharathi equals Rama. Son of Dasharatha is Dasharathi. When you do Dasharathis plus Rama, when you do that sandhi. So really in the commentary we have it like this, okay? And we have Rama. Actually equals Rama is really what he means. That is he's clarifying for you who that is. But what we had was really the padacheda of this is going to be it is really the Dasha Rathihi is what we began, Rathis actually to begin with. Dasha Rathis plus Ramaha. So I think most we know the rules here now. You have to apply Sasajusho Ruhu. And then you have to apply Rori. When you have a Refa back to back. Refasya Rephe Pare Lopasyat. When you have Refa followed by Refa and R followed by an R in this language, the prior R is dropped. So Rori, I think it is 8-3, maybe 14. It's right around there. Rori. And when that happens, the prior vowel becomes Dirgha. Dhalope Purvasya Dirghona. So in the, let me see, 8-3, Rori. I want to go to 8-3. Yeah, Rori is 8-3-14. So Refasya Rephe Parataha Lopasyat. And once you do that, then you go to 6-3-1-1-1 is Dhalope. When you drop a Dhakara or a Repaha. Purvasya Dirgha, Purvasya Anaha. The prior un means Ayun takes Dirgha. So 6-3-1-1-1. Now quickly, how can we go back to 6-3-1-1 after applying 8-3-14? Is the answer is that if we don't allow this 6-3-1-1-1 to see this Dakara or Repa Lopaha which happens in 8.3, it will never apply. So that is why we have to give it a chance. The 6-3-1-1-1 has to be given a chance to see that 8-3-13-14. In our case 8-3-14, otherwise it will be, so Vachana Samarathyat. Repa, so Lopasya Asiddhatvam Nasti. It doesn't have Asiddhatvam. So when you apply all these rules, we made this Sa into a Ra, Sasajusho Ruhu. I think you all know that by now. And then we did Rori, removed that Ra. And then we did the Dirgha of the E by applying that, okay? So maybe I'll split these steps for you. So when you apply 8-66, then you're going to get the Dashara Thir. Because Padacheda is the main thing. If you were to do the Sandhi rules, if you practice them to the point, they should be second nature for you. That is a very fundamental knowledge of this language. And it's different from English and other languages because there are spaces and things like that. So 8-66 brought make it Dasharathir, and then you did the 8-3-14 and 6-3-1-1, make it Dasharathi. Okay, so let's go back to the commentary. Let's see what he says. Dasharathi is Ramaha. And then he gives one more thing. Let's do the Padanmaya first. Dasharathi Ramaha. Then Sthanuhu Dagdha Vapushaha. So Sthanu Dagdha Vapushaha. So he's taking the, he's doing this is actually a compound we have. The Sthanu Dagdha Vapusha is a compound. So he's explaining parts of the compound for you. Sthanu is Haraha, Lord Shiva is Sthanu. And then Sthanu Dagdha Vapushaha is, he says, Tena Sthanuna Dagdha Vapuhu, Dagdham Vapuhu, Yasya Saha. So he was Kamadevaha, whose body was burnt by Lord Shiva. And he says Madanasya. He's qualifying Madanasya. So Sthanu Dagdha Vapushaha Madanasya. Tapovanam Prapya. Look at this from Prapya now. What in English they call gerund. Prapya. And when this happens, when you have Samana Kartrika Yoho Purvakale. Samana Kartrika Yoho Purvakale. The moment you see that Twa, which can become Ya when you have a Samasa like that. So, in Gita, right? So, you have Prapya Nivartante. Tadhavane Paramam Mama. Purushastha Parapata Bhaktya Labhyastananyaya. Yasyanta Sthani Bhuta. So I think it comes in 8th Adhyaya. I think it comes in 8th. Let me try. I think if my memory is right. I think 8th Adhyaya of Gita, I think we have this form of Parastasmatu Bhavonyo Vyakto Vyakta Sanatanaha Yasya Sarveshu Bhuti Nashasuna Vinashyati Avyakto Shrityuktastamahu Paramangatim. Yeah. So I think that might be it. That might be it. In 8th Adhyaya. Yam Prapanya Nivartante Tadhama Pramam Mama. This is a very difficult shloka because this okay, let me try. Coming towards the end, I think this word Prapya comes in the Gita. It does come in the Gita, maybe more than one place. Let me see if I can find it for you. I think it comes below that. Okay, Sarga Paryantam Utagramas Evayam, below that, Parastasmatu Bhavonyo. Here it is. Avyaktakshara ityuktastamahu paramam gatim yam prapyanani vartante tadhama pramam mama. So having attained which, Venkata has he knows, yeah. Swagatam Venkata? Yes. Venkata, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, Satish Ji?
Yes.
15th chapter also we get it.
Yes, 15th chapter also. In fact, this is very difficult line because there we get, that is the Mamayamsho Jiva Loki comes after that. And this one comes in 8th Adhyaya, right?
Yes, yes.
So that is very difficult because Tadhama Paramamama comes in 2 places. Venkataji is right. So that is, you have to be very careful because this is a big snake, in the snake and ladders game of Gita. This is a huge snake. You can go from 8 to 15 or back from 15 to 8. So anyway, thank you. Yes, correct. It comes in more than one place. Anyway, Prapya comes here. So what is Dhatu? Dhatu is the same Dhatu Ap. And what happens is that when you have this Upasarga, when you make a Samasa like this, that Twa becomes Lyap. Samase Anyang Purve Two Lyap. Samase Anyang Purve Two Lyap. So this Panini is a substitution. The Twa Pratyaya becomes Lyap Pratyaya. So even though the default, I think it's 7:135-ish, I think. Yeah, 7:37. 7:37. Samase Anyang Purve Two Lyap. So when you have a Samasa, which means when you get this, any of these Upasargas there or some of the other words also called Gati Sanyakas, then we get this Twa becomes Lyap. The Twa itself has been brought in by Sutram of the, because the Pratyaya actually was Twa to begin with. Why is it important, by the way? Because you always want to start with the default Pratyaya. See, this, I think I mentioned in the class before. There's a difference between an Apavadaha and an Adeshaha. An Adeshaha is a substitution. It means the Twa Pratyaya actually came. It was substituted by Lyap. And Apavada means it overrules that sutram, not in this case, but in other cases maybe. So for example, when you have a 4th grana dhatu, divadibhyashyan, we say, divyati. Now in that case, that the shap never came. it was overruled by Shan. So why is that important, whether it came or not? It's gone anyway now. It's important. It leaves behind a residue. The sthanivat bhava is there. So when you say this pratyak tva had come, it was replaced by lyap, then the kitness of tva flows down to the lyap. Even though lyap doesn't have kurs and it, by sthanivat bhava. Sthanivat means it gets the bhava, it takes the state of the thing which is replaced. So whether the tva actually came or not is very important. Of course, in this case, we don't have any application. Like you say anushrutya when you say, something like that. When you have this lyap also cannot do any guna vriddhi because of the fact that it came in place of tva. The tva had a kit, and because sthanivat bhava, it holds that. So always keep in mind whether you have a substitution or whether you have an apavada. Apavada means the original, the utsarga never came. Utsarga is the default. So that never came. No question of having sthanivat bhava. But if you have an adesha, then you better keep track of what was there first, because that's going to leave behind a residue and give its characteristics when we pass down to the next fellow who's going to come there. So tva, the kitness of tva is going to come there. So also tva was an amvyaya. Lyap becomes an amvyaya also by that now, because Panini has put a sutram where the tva becomes an amvyaya. So now even the lyap becomes an amvyaya. So it takes that property also. So all the properties it takes. So actually the sutram samana kartakayoha purva kale is the one that you want to start with. And that one, I'll give you the number for that. And the reason I like this sutram is that because it gives a good structure to the sentence, So that was 3-4-21, samana kartakayoho. So first we start with 3-4-21 and then use 7-1-37 to do the adesha of lyap in place of tva. And anekalchis sarvasya. Anekalchis sarvasya. Because the lyap is the full ya, the yakara, akara. Is anekal pratyaha. So therefore it replaces the entire tva is gone. So samana kartakayoha purvakale 3-4-21. So what we really have is that we had the pra, a plus, so let's put that. And that means there is some samana karta who is doing two actions. You know that now. So the question you should immediately ask when you see this kind of form is that who is the samana karta and what is the uttaravartini kriya? Who is samana karta and what? Here it is clearly, we look at the shloka which we have. Now let me just put this in the document first. So tva, we use the 3-4-21 and then the 7-1-37 replaces the tva by lyap. That is that's what's happening. I'm sorry, didn't change that. So we have to find the samana karta and what is uttaravartini kriya. So let's see that. Now let's go back to the shloka. Clearly that is only one karta in our case, and that is going to be the Ramaha. Is Saha Ramaha, is Dasharathihi Ramaha, is that Tapovanam Prapya, having reached this Tapovanam, he says the next thing is that Patinidhi Abhavatta. Abhavat Patinidhihi. So he became like a, Patinidhi can be representative, Patinidhi means can be like a reciprocal of somebody. Sadrisha. So he looked like, he became similar to Kamadevaha. So he became. So Abhavat is the second kriya. So having reached the forest, Tapovanam, or the grove we can say, Ramaha became became an image, a representative, or reciprocal of Kamadevaha. So that's the second kriya. So that's why he puts this whole clause first, Saha atta karma kaha dasharati tapovanam prapya. Then he says charuna vigrahena. The word charu is same as charming. Charu is same as charming. So remember that very easy word. Remember, I think maybe English word charu may have come from, charming may have come from that. So charu equals charming. It's an adjective. So charu is an adjective. Charu, I think this is not in Gita, but it means charming, Okay, so charuna vigrahena. So vigraha, we say vigraha vakyam. Vigraha means also like a breakup, or explanation. Vigraha can also mean an arrangement. Vigraha can also, I think, might be like a conflict also. Let's see what he says. He says, Vigraha samare kaya iti vishvaha. This vishvaha is another shabda kosha. Okay, it's another lexicon of these in this language, which will give you all these paryaya shabda, like a thesaurus. Vishvaha. Of course, Amar kosha is the most common, but you have word like, when you see this Vishvaha or Halayuthaha or Medini, these are all these lexicon that these grammarians or these, these scholars, they study all of these, But he says Vigraha samare kaye. So Vigraha can be mean into a samare thing in a war. It is in the meaning of a conflict, it also mean the body. So he says, but in this case means kayena. But asmin sandarbhe kayana iti artha. So by his body, by his frame, Pratinidhi equals pratikriti. Pratikriti like a duplicate. Pratikriti means to copy. He became a copy of pratikriti. Sadrishaha abhavat. He became similar to. He looked similar to. Now we'll come to the last part. And it says karmana na punaha. Dehena. So he not because of his actions. Because Kamadeva's actions are dubious, right? He got burned by Shiva, he got into trouble, he gets in all kind of trouble all the time. But na karmana. So his sadrishyam was only because of vigrahena na karmana. Not on account of his actions or his behavior. He was not like Kamadeva, but because of his posture, because of his body. So, now we skipped a couple of things here. Let's go back. Atta karmakaha. Atta karmakaha. Now, any guesses? What is the dhatu in atta? Anybody? Anybody? I think if any of you chant the Shiva Mahimna Stotram, I think atta comes in that. Atta, I think marutaha. Okay, dhatu is a plus da. Oh, Usha had the answer. Very well. I'm sorry, I preempted her. So, yes, Ushaji. Well, again, I cannot mute you, sir. There's something wrong with the mic again. So please type your answer because I'm not able to unmute you. So let me see. Can I get her answer? No. Okay. Anyway, I think she maybe have the answer. But the dhatu is a plus da. Oh, a plus da. So normally, what is the the nishtha, the kra pratyaya, when it becomes datta, dattaha. And how it should become adattaha then? How it became ataha? Okay. The usual theory. If you see you go and see where you can find the form dattaha, and then below that you can look for some exceptions and see what is overruling that. Sutram is do dadghoho. Do dadghoho is a sutram, and that is which was telling us that when this, I think it's Tado Kiti. I think it's in 7440. Tado Kiti starts from 7440. I think it might be here. Do dadhate hi. See, do dadghoho. Okay. Do dadghoho. And then there is the sutram is achaha upasargat taha. So if you have the upasarga ending in ach, then the da becomes ta. Okay, so that is the sutram which is there in 7447. Now, if you knew do dadghoho, which is that normally it becomes datta. So datta is very common. I think you all know that datta. Dattam is given. But the next sutram is achaha upasargat taha. Ajanta upasargat, which we do have because we have a da. So ajanta upasarga we have. Then the whole da becomes ta. So it becomes ta. So becomes the. So let's go to 7447, and that is the one that we want to use. This is always the Panini style, find the utsargaha, then look below that, and generally you'll find the answer what you're looking for. So if you suspect something should have happened, it didn't happen. It's probably something below that. You can always take a chance, Also, in the case of dhatus, there are many books, which are commentaries on the dhatu pathas, which you can easily go to. One of the favorites, of course, is what they call the Krudanta Rupamala, published by the Chennai Sanskrit Samsthanam Vidyalayam that they have there. Very, very good book. It gives all the dhatus, which most of the Krudanta forms. If you just open up that book, looking at dhatu da, you're going to find this sutram here. Acha upasargataha. Let's see what it says. Okay. Ajantad upasargat. उत्तरस्य दा इति एतस्य घुसंज्ञकस्य त इत्ययम् आदेशो भवति तकारादौ किति उत्तम नीतम. So he gives that, So the adesha is becoming ta adesha, not takara. Okay, so then let's see what we have now. So we have ada plus, so taken, attam is taken up, okay, taken up. Ada is, da is to give, ada is to take. So atta karmuka is a bahuvrihi. So, one who has taken up karmuka is a bow. One who has taken up his bow. So if karmuka, I don't know the gender of karmuka, if it's masculine, so attaha karmukaha yena saha. Or if karmukam is neuter, then attam karmukam, probably atta karmukaha yena saha. So we can check if karmuka is either masculine or neuter, but it's going to be bahuvrihi. And also in a bahuvrihi, if you see the nishtha pratyaya, that participle form as a pura padam, start looking bahuvrihi. That's a very typical sign of a bahuvrihi. In bahuvrihi, that this participle, like atta, like sita prajnasya kaha bhasha gita, right? Sita prajna, sita prajna, sthita. So that will be the pura padam now in bahu, because Pani has a sutram called nishtha. He says that this nishtha should go as a pura padam. In Ashtadhyayi, the sutram nishtha comes in two places. You'll be very careful. Another thing in Ashtadhyayi, there's some sutras are repeated in two different places. Very nasty. It's very hard to figure out what is going on. But the same sutram is completely different meaning, come in different places. So one sutram, this nishtha comes in two places. One in 3.2. One comes in this 2.2. So nishtanta pratyayam, nishtanta padam puram bhavati. So it becomes the pura padam. Let's look at karmukaha. Get the vigraha vakyam. Notice that the Malinatha did not get the vigraha vakyam for that. No vigraha vakyam. It should be straightforward for us to figure out, because it is a very easy bahuvrihi compound. So one who has taken up his bow. Only thing I'm looking at here is that whether it is masculine or neuter, you cannot tell from this form. Why you cannot tell? Because it is now qualifying Shiramaha. So regardless of whether karmukaha was masculine or neuter, it's not going to be masculine. Okay, it's neuter actually. Okay, so then he said, attam karmukam yena saha. One who has taken up his bow. Okay, so we did the looking at the vritti which we just saw for the achopasargataha. So da iti etasya ghusanyakasya. See what is ghusanya? We'll go into more detail, but the ghusanya is these dhatus of the form da and dha. They are called ghu. Dada ghvadap is sutram for that. Dada ghvadap. So that gu sanyakasya ta iti ayam adesha bhavati takarado kiti. The pratyaya is either kit pratyaya which takaradi. What we have right now is we have this one which is the and there's a lot of sutras for you right now, but just listen to them, and slowly you'll get the hang of it. Da plus so we have a plus da plus the pratyaya kta. Kta is what we have. Now we should have applied that. Should have applied the 7446 do that ghoho. Instead, we are using, because ajanta upasarga is there, we are using the pratyata. Anybody in the class can give you the next step now. So, because what is happening now is that we are ending up with this ta adesha. Ta means the entire ta is coming, ta plus ta. Why? Because the dhatu da is we don't want to replace the alontyasya. See, now when substitution comes, it replaces only the ending letter. Unless that substitute is either anekal, it has more than one letter, or anekal or shit, or if it's talavyasya as an it marker. If we had only a ta substitution, it will only replace the ending a of da. But now we have substitution of ta with the takara, akara sahita. So then in that case, it will replace the entire da. So we have this, so at 7447, because the adesha is ta, so I'll just put the number here, 7447, and then we get the ata. Now what can we do? We are stuck because we need to get the form atta, So now we have atata. Of course, in the ta lashakvata dite, the ka is an it, so we can apply this 1 3. I'm sorry, we can apply 1 3 1 3 8, right? I think yeah, 1 3 8. So we can get like that. So we remove the it letter, we by 1 3 8. Now who can tell me what can we use to remove this akara? We need to remove this akara here somehow to get the form atta, because of course in the book you see the form is atta. Who can tell me? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. This ta pratyaya is ardhadhatukam, because ting shit savadhatukam ardhadhatukam sheshaha. Ting shit savadhatukam ardhadhatukam sheshaha. Dhatu iti vihitasya. All the pratyaya which are prescribed after dhatus, the third adhyaya vashtadhyayi, then they fall into two baskets. If it's a ting, which is the 18 verbal endings, or talavya as an it, they become ting shis sarvadhatukam, ardhadhatukam sheshaha. This comes end of 3.4. So this pratyaya is ardhadhatukam. Just like we saw the routine of before of the bhasya adhikara, this is like a computer program, So the moment you get the sanya of ardhadhatukam, then Panini has this computer program called ardhadhatuke. So that routine immediately trips off. And you have to run that routine to see if something there is going to affect, what you're doing. This adhikar of ardhadhatukasya comes in Ashtad in two places. One is in 2.4, one in 6.4. In 2.4 we have this ardhadhatukasya, but that's not in the angasya adhikara. That's when the dhatus completely change to a different form. For example, take the dhatu as. The as doesn't have all forms in all lakaras. If the following pratyas ardhadhatukam, the as becomes bhu immediately. If you want to look at the future tense of as, it is bhavishyati, because in the adhikara ardhadhatuke, which comes in 2.4, which is not what we did now. See, this 2.4.35 starts ardhadhatuke. And then all these things are given here, So all these dhatus change to different forms, So aster bhuhu, dhatu as becomes bhuva vachihi. The dhatu bhuru becomes vach. So if you take the future of bhuru, it becomes vakshyami. See, Usha has the answer thing. But Usha, I'm not able to unmute you. So let me see if you can put the comment in the question. I can read you. Okay. So, but that's not what we want, because we want to do the angasya adhikara. We have an angakaryam right now. We're not looking for entire dhatu replacements. We are looking for angakaryam. And that comes in 6.4, ardhadhatuke. I think 6.4.46 starts ardhadhatuke. And there, sutram is atolopaha ardhadhatuke. Atolopaha ardhadhatuke. Yeah, Anuj, I think, had the answer for me. Yes, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yes.
Thank you. So Usha ji had, Anuj ji had. Thank you, very good. So they both had the answer. Thank you. So 6.4.48 atolopaha. So the moment you have pratyaya which ardhadhatuke, and you have anga, you have the, you already have the base over there, then you have to come and run this routine. You start from 6.4.46. This Ashtadhyayi is like a huge computer program, And then you have the if-then statements in there. The moment it says if ardhadhatuke, then that starts from 6.4.46, and then that goes, all the way up to 6.4.68. So they're atolopaha. If a short akarantasya angasya lopasyat ardhadhatuke, which we do have that. So we have, so this is Panini style. He brought the pratyaya entire ta adeshaha. It will be anekal shit sarvasya. So we'll replace the entire da, and then we can use 6.4.48, do atolopaha, and drop the akara of that prior, the purva takara uttaravarti akarasya lopasyat, and then we get the form atta. So, and these also forms work like mathematics. Most Kudanta forms are easy to derive, so we should master them. Why do I say we should master them? Because those which are gray areas, we have to use some discretion, and we have to, make some little bit tweaking. This is like mathematics. So this one you should keep firm. Others we can discuss, and we can, like when you talk about some samasas or some karaka, even taditas, we have to do some flexibilities there. This is not like that. So these are the one which you want to get first, so others we can, think about. So atta. So that's how we got this form. So attam karmukam yena saha. No commentary. No commentary at all. Because we are supposed to figure it out on our own. And you look at this ending became masculine because this bahuvuri is anyapada pradhanaha. So it will take the lingam of the anyapadam. So it will take the it will follow the gender of that which is qualifying. Then he gives the dasharatihi. Dasharathasya apatyam puman dasharatihi. Ata ing. We saw in the class today earlier, when you have to add sadhya pratyaya, actually any pratyaya, you should know three things. Which prakriti can take this pratyaya? What is the pratyaya? In what meaning? Look at what we have here. It says ata ing. So all he's saying is 4,195. So if adanta pradipadikam, if you have, the pratyaya is ing, but we have no idea what meaning it is. But he gives us Dasharathasya apatyam puman. So it is a masculine offspring of Dasharatha. Dasharati. Iti ing pratyayaha. So 4,195. Now we go there quickly. Is that there is adhikara. This is what I mean of tadita. You have to know these where Panini does the arsanidesha. They're like sections. And one main section is tasyapatyam. This 4,192 starts tasyapatyam, which are very, very complex rules. In ancient India, there are all these complex rules. If your son is somebody, then his son, then his grandson, his great-grandson, sometimes even the mother's son, even some of the sister's son, sister's brother. So all these rules, there are many, many rules over here, very complex, very complex. So, but for us right now, and tasyapatyam only gives the meaning now. So 4,192 says from now till the end of 4.1, all these pratyaya which are coming, they will come in this meaning, offspring of that person. Okay. Now prior to that, Panini also put the default pratyaya an by 4,183. Look at this sutram now. Prag divyato an. So up to the word divyat, which comes in beginning of 4.4, the default pratyaya is an. So it doesn't give you any meaning. It doesn't tell you which prakriti. So if nothing is said from 4,183 all the way to 442, an will come as a default. So an is now occupied the entire territory from 4,183 to 442. So the pratyaya is an by default, unless something is specifically said. So an would have come for us also. But this one Panini says is ata ing. If you have a short ending, then the pratyaya is ing. Okay. Now, so dasharatha. Dasharatha is the akaranta pradipadikam. So we got the pratyaya ing. And I think again we have to use the yasyeti which we used in the class before. We got the bhasanya because it is yachibham. So you get overrules the padasanya which we have got by the swadhishuranamastane. And then we have to use yasyeti, remove the ending of the sharatha. So the same steps that we saw before for the shakhin which we did, apply the same steps here. So 4,195 brought the ata ing, got the bhasanya, yasyeti. So this may be the lesson for this class today, is remove the sequence of the bhasanya yasyeti cha. Very, very common sequence, very common sequence. The moment you have any pratyaya which is swadi, includes all taditas, includes all three pratyayas. And then if it is yakaradi or ajadi. So dasharatha we had, and then to that we brought in the ata ing by the pratyaya in came in. And now, as I think Anuji had mentioned in the class, is because of this nya as an it, we have to do the adi vriddhi, become dasharathe. So this da becomes da. So this sutram we used was, I think, 4,195, because here the adanta pradipadikam we have. And now we will have to use I think 7.2, what is going to be end of 7.2. Taditeshu acham adehe. Taditeshu acham adehe. So if you have a pratyaya which is the cha varga panchama or the ta varga panchama as an it, then the adi aj takes vriddhi. See, when you have the dhatus and anything, the ending aj takes vriddhi. But here Pani with immediately preceding one will take vriddhi, right? But in Taditeshu Acham Adehe, Panini says, the beginning actually, like Sundar becomes Soundaryam, like Karpanyam. So all these, Bhagavad become Bhagavatam. So Shankara Bhashyam. So all these are Adi Vriddhis. Taditeshu, and so that's one of the tip-offs that you may have a Tadita Pratyaya. You see an Adi Vriddhi, like Arsha Vidya Gurukulam, right? So Rishi became Arsha. So that is telling you that you probably have a Pratyaya with Tadita Pratyaya. Taditeshu Achamadehe, 72117. So either the Chavarga Panchama or the Tavarga Panchama is an it, niti. And kiti also comes down there. So either the ka is an it, the nya is an it, or the na as an it. Then we have to use 72117 to do the Adi Vriddhi. So Adi Vriddhi. And so the da become da. And then following that, as we went to, we had to go to the same steps that we did for the when we did the Shakhin, and then use the Yachibham 1418, and then come to the Bhasyadhikaraha, which is the 64148. Use Yasyaticha to remove the of Ratha. That's ending of Ratha. That then we get the form Dasharathihi. Okay, so now that's what he's telling us, that he told us that he used the Ata in, because otherwise the an was coming as a default down there. So he's saying you don't use that. Use the Ata in and make the Dasharathihi. Then he says, what is Sthanu? Sthanu is one who is fixed, unmoving. So Dhatu is Stha. Probably Pratyaya is probably going to be Unadi Pratyaya most likely. So Sthanu Haraha, Lord Shiva. So Sthanuhu Kile Hare Sthire iti Vishwaha. So Vishwa again is the lexicon. It is telling you that it comes in these three meanings. Kile can be a nail or a stake, or like a spike. And Hare is Lord Shiva. And then Sthire is anything which is fixed, stationary. Sthanuhu iti Vishwaha. But he is doing a Vigraha Vakyam for us now. Sthanu Dagdha Vapushaha. So Sthanuna, which is Tena. So Sthanuna Dagdham Vapuho Yena Yasya Saha. But he didn't give the Vigraha Vakyam, but this is obvious. Look at the same thing again. Atta Karmakaha, you had this past participle in the beginning member. Same thing, Dagdha Vapushaha. Dagdha Vapusha also you had the same thing. You had this Dhatu Dah gives the form Dagdha Vapushaha. The past participle. Okay, let me see. Can I call Anuji to have the form Dagdha for us? Let me see if she can do it for us quickly. Anuji, you want to try
Yes,
the form Dagdha? You want to try it? Okay,
it is familiar. Let me see.
I'll help you.
Daha.
Dhatu Dah.
Yeah.
And plus
and
ta. But
Anubandha
Lopeta. Now, first thing we should do
is
check if an id agama is there or not. We were doing the lesson yesterday, right? Check is the hanteshu. So hanteshu in the list of anid dhatus. In the hanteshu, we have daha, diha, duha, naha. So very first one is daha. It's an anid dhatu. No id agama. That's step number 1. So by 7 to 10, looking at the karika by 7 to 10, the id agama is stopped. So in nishedha. So in nishedha. So that's the first step. So that we got. Anyway, you can see that no iragama is not there, so it's kind of spashtam. Now what about
then jashatatodha? Will that come? No, that won't.
That's only jashatatodha.
Yeah,
we don't have that's coming later on.
So
normally should have had ho-daha should have come.
Ho-daha.
It should have come. But what overrules that? Okay, let me bring everybody else in the class on the same page. So what I'm talking with Anuji is that this ha becomes a jakara jali padante hodha. This 8 to 31 says, I'll give you the answer now also. Look at the next sutra. So hodha.
Okay.
Hodha says dhakara adesha bhoti jali pada. We have jali right now. because we have the pratyaya ta falling. Next sutra says dader dhatu dha.
Yes.
We have a dakaradi dhatu. Then the ha becomes a gha. The ha becomes a gha. So which we do have jali padante. So we have the dakaradi dhatu, and we do have the jal letter following. So the hod has overruled, and this becomes into a gha. So now we already in the Tripadi section now, which is we have to use the 8 to 32, which will overrule 8 to 31, because an apavada for that. So use 8 to 32, and to change the ha, because you have dakaradi dhatu, and that will change to ga. It would have been changed to dha, but right now it doesn't. And then next to which Anuji said, which you just told Anuji. What was that one you just said?
Dashatadordaha.
Dashatadordaha. Dashatadordaha. Tripadi Vashtadhya is really a thing of beauty, because you cannot look back, only look forward. So we better find something later on to help us out, because once you're already in 8 to 32, now everything, any sutra which is before that, for that sutram, this Adesh shall be asiddham. It cannot act anymore, only go forward. So then we have to use the 8 to
40, right?
8 to 40, yes.
Yeah.
This jashastatordhodhaha. Jashastatordhodhaha is that if you have a jashanta, what is jashanta? Javai Gadadash. Javai Gadadash. Chaturtha varnaha. So the column number 4. Column number 4 is Jash, Javai Gadadash, which we do have, because we got the Gha in there, and that made it into a Jashanta. So this is the Jashanta Gha. Jashash Tathoho. The Takara or Takara follows, that becomes into Dha. So that by 8 to 40 changes the, and then we are done, right? Almost done. What's the last sutra, Manaji?
You have to get that ga, right?
Yes, so we want the in place of ga, we want ga. We want the alpa prana. So right now what we have done, we've changed the ga to we changed the ta to, actually I should say ta. The ta changes to the ta.
Mm.
And what, anybody in the class, last sutram? We now have dag dha. We want dag dha. Jalam just jashi. Jalam just jashi. Jalam just jashi. Jalam just jashi. If you have a jal letter followed by a jash letter now, so which is the, it's going to be 8 4
50 53. Yeah.
53. 8 4 53. Jalam jash. So jal will become the jalam will become the number 3 jashi. So if it's followed by the column number 3 or 4, because Javai Garadash, Jaba Garadash. So this Jash is column 3 and 4, I should say 4 and 3 of the Vargiyas. So what do we have right now? Then if the Jal is followed by column 3 or 4 letter, it goes to the number 3, Jash. Jash is column 3, Jaba Garadash. So we are at the 8 4 53. We have right now the Gha. It's going to be followed by Dha, which is number 4. So then, so let me put that here first. So we have, we have Dag plus Dha, and then apply the, that will give us the final form, 8 4 53. Let's check the conditions. We do have the Jal letter, which is the Gha. It's followed by the Jash, which is this one. And this Gha is going to become a Jash. And of course, use the Sthanendratamaha, make it the closest one, it's going to become Ga. So apply 8 4 53 to change. So this is the prakriya which is, you can use all these Pani Sutras to get comfortable with the Ashtadhyayi. Because as I said to you, these work very well, there's no problem, very easy, step by step. So we have to practice these as much as we can. I know this is new to many of you. So bear with me for time being, you'll get a hang of this as we go along. So make the form Dagdha. Thank you. So Dagdha. And so then we get the form Dagdham Vapuhu Yasya Saha Vapuhu. Madanasya, then Tapovanam, no commentary. So all you're going to be, this is a Tatpusha compound, definitely. Because why do I say that? Uttar Prabhadhana. Because vanam has the pradhanyam. It is a forest, it's a grove. For tapase vanam, I would say. So tapase vanam is that it is a forest which is fit for austerities. Tapo vanam. Now I don't know the history behind this, what happened over here, but I guess Kamadeva did tapas over there. Maybe I'm just guessing. So Madanasya tapo vanam. It was the tapo vanam which belonged to Kamadeva. So having reached that, so the whole, what do you have so far? So that Rama, who had taken up his bow, having reached this grove or forest fit for tapas, which actually belonged to, in a way, to the god of love, whose body was burned by Lord Shiva. Then having reached there with his beautiful or wonderful, figure, vigraham is like figure, he became like a copy of the Madana. See, Madana his body was burned, he's anangam. So he cannot be seen anymore. He's gone. So when Rama came there, he looked like that, Madana had come, but only because of his figure, not because of his actions. Karmana na punaha. Not because of his actions, but only by his figure. So then he summarizes the whole thing at the end for us. Is dehena badana sundara iti bhavaha. So what his meaning is that his body, his figure, was beautiful, like that of Kamadeva. So dehena, on account of his figure, he was beautiful. So madanavat sundaraha. He was beautiful like Kamadeva. Let us go to the translation. I think Venkat ji can help us out, right? Venkat, can you help us? Is he there? Venkat, are you there?
Yes, Venkat ji.
Okay. Can you help us? So, bow in hand. Okay.
Bow in hand. Dhanardhara.
No.
Here.
Nagaraj has a question for us. It is the Atta Karmakaha.
Atta Kamakaha. Yeah, Atta Kamakaha. Atta Kamakaha.
One second. Nagaraj, you have a question?
No question. I thought I would do it because you called me the previous time. I was on another phone at that time. So
okay, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll give you another chance next time.
Okay.
No, thank you. Okay, so next time we'll remember to give Nagaraj a chance. Okay. So yeah, bow in hand. That in hand is the Atta taken up, Karmuka is the bow. So it's qualifying Rama. So bow in hand, Atta Karmuka. As Ramaha enters. So Ramaha is what? What do you think, Venkat? Which one can we use for Ramaha?
Dasharathi.
Dasharathi is Ramaha. And then entered the forest.
Prapya.
So Prapya, she's entered, yes. Prapya. I think, let me see. One more question here. Question, Nagaraja? Question?
No, I didn't have any question.
Okay, all right. So entered actually means like having, yes.
I only had a question. In Rama Raksha Stotram, I think we get this Atta Sajja Dhanusha.
Yes, very good. Yes, Atta Sajja Dhanusha, right. So one those have taken up good points. Good. So this comes in the Rama Raksha Stotram. So those who had taken up their bows, which are ready, Sajja. So they were ready bows. Yes, correct. Atta comes in Rama Raksha Stotram also. Very good. It comes there. Good point. Same thing. It's taken up, Taken up. It's also Bahubri over there. I think there is qualifying Rama Lakshmana, right? In that Sotram. So it's qualifying the two of them is qualifying. Good. It's a similar thing over here. So the more you read, the more you can connect these words. If you don't understand, at least keep on reading, you can understand. Okay, thank you for that. The forest is what? The forest sacred to the god of love. Okay. Now I think what he says is that Madanasya Tapovanam.
Madanasya
Tapovanam. I think he didn't use the word tapas practically. He just said forest. Okay, I guess forest which was meant for austerities or conducive to austerities, of God of love. Now whose body was consummated by Shiva. Which was that?
Sthanur Dagdha Vapusha.
Only Sthanu Dagdha Vapusha. So Sthanu is Shiva, Dagdha is burnt, consumed, and Vapusha is a Bahuvri. So Sthanuna Dagdham Vapuhu Yasya Saha. Then by his lovely shape.
Charuna Vigrahena.
Beautiful. Charuna Vigrahena. But not by his wanton act. Not by his act. Which one is that?
But not by his wanting.
Na karmana.
Karmana, na karmana.
Na, because there is na, because it is, this ninditena karmana na. Because Kamadeva is all mischief, So he is not like that, So na karmana. So did he show like love?
So abhavat, saha abhavat.
Abhavat pratinidhi. Pratinidhi is that like, means sadrishaha. So that's like. So pratinidhi abhavat means he resembled. He resembled him. So saharamaha. Okay, good. So any other questions? I think we're out of time. So I'll stay back for questions. Those will go to the next class. Okay, so thank you. Okay, I guess no questions. Okay, so let's start. So next time we'll begin with, let me see, then if there are no questions, I can give you some small homework maybe. Anuj has a question.
Satishji, with that Basanya, I did not understand how that 1419, is that another definition for Basanya?
So Basanya is normally Yachibham.
Yes. And then this, how does that 1419 come in?
1419 says if you have the Sakaranta or Sakaranta Pratipadikam, which is followed by any Pratyaya with Matuparthiya, then that also gets Basanya.
So that's another definition then.
In addition to that, Yachibham.
Yeah.
In addition to Yachibham, there is also another one which gives the Basanya, which kind of overrules the Padasanya which have been Prapta. So Praptayaha Padasanyayaha Apavada it becomes. So this Tasaumatvarthe is another one which brings in the bha to stop the padasanya. It's only specifically only if you have takaranta or sakaranta pradipadikam followed by a matuparthya pratyaya, then only, otherwise no.
Okay, thank you.
Another one to add on to that. Now for next class, you can read next two shlokas at least, okay? And tau suketu sutaya, this is the Tataka Vada is going to come now. He's going to take up his, so try to get the verb, try to get some of these forms. It's interesting, there's a lot of grammar going on in the next one now. Because he's used the some grammar here. Let's look at this word ninyatuhu. I think we'll look at the atus ending which is coming here, okay? So simple thing is that tau rama lakshmanau dhanushi adhijyatam ninyatuhu. Means they took their bows to the state of being strung. They strung their bows. It simply means that. See, that's the thing in this language. You take something to a state, Even to like anger. He goes to anger, Take klebyam masmagam of Partha, right, in Gita. So, O Partha, O Arjuna, don't go to unmanliness. Don't go to unmanliness, it says. In English, you would never say that, Don't go to unmanliness. But here you do say that. You can take something to a certain state. So they took their two bows to the state of being strung. This English sounds very strange, it isn't strange. They strung their bows. So try to figure out how to become ninyatuhu. If you can figure out the steps, dhatu is long ni. So atus pratyaha. Then this one I think will be difficult for you. The khili krite. Spashti karanam, right? Vishadi karanam. So shukli karanam. So khili karanam. So this is one this special kind of tadhita which requires the as, kru, bhu to come after that. This is in the next class. Some of them are very easy. Kaushikad, vidita shapa is bahuvrihi. Look at the word vidita. Vidita is again this participle coming in the pura padam. Look for bahuvrihi. Vidita shapaya is qualifying the suketu sutaya. This is the Tataka, who is the daughter of Suketu. Then the word pati comes in Gita. We would have Brahmana pati 6th adhyaya. What's the pradipadikam in pathin? I give you the answer. Sorry. The pradipadikam is pati, the pradipadikam is pathin. So in Ashtadhyaya in 7.1, I think you'll find a rule which becomes pati. We can look for that, maybe give some homework there. And okay, so we'll look at it next time, but just this couple of homeworks. Find out how pati works. Ninyatuhu, if you can do the prakriya for that, maybe try that. And this one will be a little bit difficult. So we'll look at the commentary if you can, maybe we can do something. Okay, so Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Vijay Ramena Bhyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Rama Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhutame Bho Rama Vamuddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasanama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varadane Shri Rama Nama Varadana On Namasti. Okay, any more questions? I'm still here. Or Manoj, you can stop the recording.